We've got a lot of stuff to cover today, so we can go ahead and just kick it off. I'm Madeline. I'm the product marketing manager at Chili Piper. I'm just here to answer questions and facilitate on the side and step in when necessary. But Liz, she's our product manager and she's really going to be taking the reins. I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself.
I'm Liz. Yeah, I'm the product manager for Chat. I've been at Chili Piper for a long time now, like over 5 years, and we just launched Chat in June, so I'm excited to take everyone through it today.
Amazing. I realized that the chat was set so that nobody could talk, but I have changed the settings. So now you should be able to chat in
Important.
the chat.
Perfect. Syracuse. Oh, hey, Casper. Casper is our engineering manager for Chat. Denver. I actually live in Denver also. It's a confusing question. All right, awesome. Should we kick it off, Madeline?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, welcome everyone. So we're gonna do a demo, which is why most of you are here, and talking about how it integrates with the rest of the demand conversion platform in our existing products, which some of you are probably familiar with. And then if you stay tuned to the end, we have some exciting plans and visions for where chat will be going beyond the current product, which will be very exciting to walk through, so you don't want to miss that. And then we'll try and save some time at the end for a Q&A as well. All right, so just to kick things off, we have a quick question for you all. I think we have a poll ready, just a fun little icebreaker. So the question is, would you rather have your phone autocorrect everything to emojis, only be able to text 90 using 90s slang, have to respond to emails using only GIFs, or have a phone that randomly starts playing loud music during meetings? And in the Zoom toolbar, you should see the poll.
Okay, it looks like a lot of people want to be able to text using 90s slang and respond to emails with GIFs. Honestly, I feel like GIFs is a better response than 90% of the emails that I get. So that seems valid for me.
Yeah, I feel like for me, gifts would reduce the cognitive load of having to type responses. I do that enough
Right.
during work. All right, let's continue. Okay, so to kick this off, we just wanted to share some context around, oh, there's the webinar poll, around why we built chat. And we wanted to share this slide with you, 1 minute, 37 seconds, because that's a very important number. It is just an average, but it is the average amount of time that a visitor spends on your website before they abandon it. So before we built chat, we were looking at the average time spent on our websites and also other websites. We found that it was very low, like less than 2 minutes, maybe more than a minute, but on average around this time frame. And this is the industry average, not just Chili Piper data. So visitors are coming to your website, they're looking for copy and content that resonates. You have 10 to 15 seconds to capture their attention. And when they don't find something that resonates, they abandon. At Chili Piper, we love forms. We know some pages have forms and they're really great for capturing those high intent visitors that are ready to submit their information to you once they've completed their research. But we know there is a larger percentage of your audience that is not ready to submit a form yet. They need more context, more information. They have some requirements and they're just unclear if they can be met by your offerings. So maybe they need help navigating your website or need a nudge before they're ready to talk to you. And this is why we haven't slowed down use of chatbots in B2B yet, and we're still seeing them all over B2B websites. What we've noticed is that most customers expect to find what they're looking for from a company's website in 3 clicks or less, which kind of aligns with that 1 minute 37-second average. We also know that majority of B2B companies, almost 60%, are using chatbots to help fill this gap of directing visitors to the right place on their website. Most commonly to answer questions, to book meetings, and to offer support. We also know that live chat is a great way that bots can help fill this gap through automation to answer questions. And then once a visitor is qualified or ready, transitioning them over to a live chat to someone on standby so that they can help increase pipeline creation directly through conversation with a sales rep who is qualified to answer their questions. So there's some context, but here's the problem that we wanted to solve for at Chili Piper. Your website has a ton going on the front end. You have tons of visitors. They're coming through multiple channels, web forms, chatbots, sign up links, different blog pages, content downloads. So what does this actually mean on the back end? On the back end, we see the same kind of problem and the same kind of chaos. You have all of these systems feeding into pipeline generation through lead creation and meetings scheduled. And this segments your data and makes answering basic questions require a little bit more effort. How much pipeline are we creating from each source? Which is the most impactful tool? What tool is responsible for generating the most revenue? Where can we optimize? And which tool should we invest more time versus less time in to maximize our efforts? These are all questions that we hear from our customers on a daily basis and from the industry when trying to optimize the pipeline generation from their website. Ultimately, this problem has caused fragmented data between your tech stack. We know that if you're a Chili Pepper customer, you're probably using all or some of these. But if you're not, then you might have some type of scheduling tool, lead distribution tool, such as Lean Data. You might have a chatbot from Drift or Qualified or another source. And all of these different tools are living on your website, which is ultimately why we created the demand conversion platform. All of these tools combined into one to combine all of your sales interactions that are already happening into a single system. So that leads us into why we threw chat into the mix. And ultimately, we just couldn't continue calling ourselves a scheduling solution without a key component of website scheduling, which is chatbots. Chatbots are responsible for pipeline generation and are an excellent quality source of this through meeting schedules directly through the bot and also through live chat conversations with your sales reps. Chili Piper has been the backbone of meetings for quite some time, and we just saw this huge gap that we needed to fill in chat with scheduling and overall connection to visitors on your website. We didn't offer at the time, and that's why we made a key decision in the past couple of years to do this, and we're really excited to combine it into the rest of our products called the demand conversion platform. We saw the bigger vision and power of what a fully integrated solution looked like when all of your products could be coming in through different channels, and yet insights would be combined into a singular one. So before we transition, we're curious to hear from the audience what the current chat strategy is at your company. So do you have chat and you're not considering it? Maybe you don't have a chat, but you are considering it, and this webinar is where you're starting. You have a chat on your website and you love it, whether it's Chili Piper or somewhere else, or you have a chat currently, but you're exploring other options. Okay, it seems like majority don't have a chat but are considering it. And then another majority have a chat but are exploring other options.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's cool to see the polls answer dynamically in real time. All right, so we're split between have chat, don't have chat, and most people are in the gray area of what direction to go in. In chat, specifically at Chili Piper, we powered them by what we call journeys. So journeys are the backbone of our chat platform. Journeys are the interface for you to design and customize what your chatbot should look like, feel like, how it should interact with your visitors, where it should pop up, where it should live, and what actions it should have, such as booking meetings at 11 p.m. when no sales reps are online, or routing a chat to a group of sales reps who are on standby to answer questions and schedule meetings and qualify those visitors. Journeys allow you to configure custom visitor experiences that ultimately have the goal of creating pipeline. The new UI flow is also the interface that we have chosen for journeys because it makes it very easy to navigate and work within. So this is the flow UI that we've also deployed to the entire suite of products in the demand conversion platform, such as Concierge and Distro. If you're currently a customer that's on our legacy platform, you are probably in transition to be upgraded to this sometime soon if you haven't been already, and everyone ultimately be using this Flow UI to manage all of their Chili Piper logic and routing. So we're really excited to share chat journeys with you all, especially because since we've launched it in June, we've heard such great feedback for how easy they are to use, get set up, and deploy with an average deployment period of 2 to 3 weeks from our customers, which is awesome, especially considering industry standard is anywhere from 3 months to 4 months, depending on the complexity of what you're launching. One of the most common ways in which journeys are used are to schedule meetings directly from the bot. And there's a couple ways you can do this. It can be done directly after qualifying a visitor from capturing some information and then presenting the calendar. Or maybe you tried to route them for live chat, but no one's online. So then you direct them to the meeting as a fallback because you're outside working hours. Chili Piper does not have any scheduling integrations with any other industry chatbots. A long time ago, we used to have one with Intercom, but ultimately it was hard to maintain. So we've just decided to incorporate that technology into our own existing stack. So this is the only way to get integrated, embedded Chili Piper scheduling within a chatbot. We were actually seeing before we built chat, customers embed hyperlinked scheduling links into other chatbots. And it was creating this disconnected scheduling experience because these scheduling links would ultimately open up in a new tab and cause visitors to have to schedule on a landing page outside of your website in order to book the meeting. Why was this being done? It was being done because it was important to RevOps teams and marketing teams that the routing of these visitors was done accurately and consistently through Chili Piper, and that was prioritized over the embedded scheduling experience, even though that was also something that is important to people. Scheduling was a core part of something that we wanted to improve and make work really well and consistently using all of the Chili Piper routing logic that you guys already know and love and are familiar with Concierge. So let's go through an example of how we would go about setting this up. In the journey interface, let's say we want to deploy a journey that is going to target visitors on your pricing page. So we can set this up to trigger specifically on your pricing page. Here we have it to always trigger, but you have the option to configure the different page URLs that it can target, different UTM parameters for visitors that it can target, how far down the page a visitor needs to be for it to show up, or how long they need to be on your web page or your website in order for the chat to appear. We can start the journey with a simple welcome message, allowing the visitor to follow different paths based on what they're interested in. One of these options can be to schedule a meeting. Now, if we go through, I'll take you through a quick demo where we set the trigger. So here you can see the URL contains pricing as one of our location conditions. And then we have our welcome message. And then here we'll capture the visitor's email. I know someone asked before the webinar or during the webinar sign-up questions if you could capture data and just set it in the background for particular visitors, and you can do that with hidden fields. So you can capture information using both attributes that can be presented to the visitor and also set things in the background using hidden fields. And then we're going to, after we capture the email, just like in Concierge, check if this visitor is owned by someone in our Salesforce ecosystem before we route them. And if they are, we're going to assign it to the owner. So this is where that Chili Piper Concierge logic comes into play. If they match to this rule, then we'll go ahead, ask them what time works, and then we're going to offer them a meeting where we route them to the owner. You can configure this meeting step to route them directly to the owner, you can route them to an individual, or you can round robin them into a distribution. If the visitor schedules a meeting, we'll send a Slack notification to the team in our team channel, and we'll set some parameters to update in Salesforce. If they don't schedule a meeting, then we might add them to a nurture campaign. And then if we go ahead and continue with the bot creation, you'll notice that eventually, once our bot is ready and we have something that we want to test, we can continue adding in and refining the messages. But eventually, you'll be able to publish your version and then go ahead and preview it on a landing page that is accessible to you and can be shared with anyone in your team, regardless of whether they have a Chili Pepper license, to test and see what this looks like. So the bot will propose a time, I'll confirm the meeting, and then I'll receive the calendar invite as a visitor to schedule the meeting. And that's how the meeting creation step is configured. All right. All right. So now let's say we configured our bot to book a meeting and we want to take it up a notch and add in a step to route the conversations for live chat. So let's update our journey to reflect this. So we'll go ahead back into our journey and we'll add in another routing rule. And we'll say if the routing rule North America company size 251 to 1500 Salesforce CRM is matched, then we're going to go ahead and offer them a meeting again. Or if it doesn't match, then we're going to route them for live chat. So the thinking here is anyone who fits this high profile target account criteria is going to be able to schedule a meeting directly with the account executives. And everyone else is just going to be round robin to the SDRs for live chat. The routing rules could be more complex than this, and Chili Piper is able to handle the robustness of a variety of different situations, but for the purpose of this example, we'll just keep it simple. So we'll route them for live chat, and you'll notice over here, we have a few different options for how we can route them. We can route them through round robin, we can route to a particular person, we can also route to an owner if we evaluate an ownership condition prior, but I have it configured to route to everyone in a team. And this option is essentially going to allow you to alert everyone who's in this team at the same time and let them grab the chat first come, first serve. So the chats don't need to be pre-assigned. I think, Elliot, you had a question about this when you signed up. If you're on, I don't know if you are, but the chats won't need to be pre-assigned. So this way, your team can just grab the chat. It kind of gamifies chat and allows everyone to be attentive and responsive versus feeling defeated if they only need to pay attention to the chat maybe every couple of hours in order to wait their turn. And it also increases the chances that the chat is going to be responded to. If someone's online, then we'll go ahead and continue with our flow. We do 2 checks. We check and see if people are online. We also check and wait to see if they've joined the conversation. And if not, then Chili Pepper can handle those fallbacks. So the route to everyone in team option essentially works like this. Visitors come in, we alert your team in Slack, public or private channels. We currently only support a Slack integration. I know we're exploring different opportunities for push notifications from Chrome for this. We also have a sound that is a very subtle pop sound when new chats and conversations come in to alert reps so they can have the browser open in the background. And then everyone gets alerted at the same time. And then they can go ahead and get the conversation notification in Slack and open it up from there. So here's a quick video of how we'll go ahead and configure this. So we're going to go ahead and configure our route through live chat node. We pick the team. And then once we pick the team, we'll configure the wait for rep step. We're going to give 90 seconds for the reps to respond. And if they don't respond, we'll offer a meeting. From the visitor's point of view, they'll submit their email, enter their questions. You'll see here's the chat notification in Slack. You can configure this with any custom message. You can go into a public or private channel. It's great for keeping visibility of the chat system throughout the entire company, even if not everyone has a chat license. And then from here, they say, I have a question on pricing. Your rep can then go in, they can see the different landing pages that visitor was on for context. They can see different data about that visitor, and then they can respond to the visitor here, and the conversation can continue. So that's how you transition from the bot to live chat when you're ready. Okay. Now transitioning into another topic that is really important for what we had in mind when we were thinking about chat, which is how do you assess the performance of chat over time? As you have chat live on your website, you're getting meetings through live chat, you're getting meetings through the bot, you're also getting meetings through concierge, you're getting meetings through handoff, you're getting meetings from all these different places. And you want to understand the activity happening within it. This is where you check your distributions. Think of distributions like a territory, a pooled group of users receiving leads and meetings from a source through a round robin. Distributions are really powerful because they allow you to use them in different contexts, either shared or you can keep them granular and separate depending on what your sales routing logic and territories look like. This is something that is entirely new and different from our legacy setup with queues. So here we have distributions, which are new and specific to the demand conversion platform. And because they are a reusable component, you can deploy them to any of your Chili Piper tools. You can see all of your meetings in one place. And the power of distributions is that they can be shared. I think this is actually one of my favorite features of the demand conversion platform because we just let you decide how you want to use distributions, and then you can set up your reporting on the back end to see where your meetings are coming in from and manage your round robins separately within those distributions. So for example, in this distribution, we have one for all AEs, company size 11 through 50. And we can see all the different places this distribution is used. We have it used in 2 concierge forms, 2 chat journeys, and even a handoff router. So essentially, anytime someone gets a meeting, it can come from any of these sources. Now, this is business logic that we decided on at Chili Piper and it works for us. But you might say we only want to reuse a distribution within a specific product, like just within one chat journey or multiple chat journeys if the weight of the lead is the same. Or you can share them across multiple products if you find that the weight of the leads from a inbound demo form is the same as a inbound chat demo. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like on the back end. So this video is going to loop a couple of times, but essentially you will be able to see as an admin all of the different meetings you have scheduled here. And then you can use these source filters at the top to see how many meetings are coming in through these different sources. As you notice, when I uncheck concierge, uncheck chat, the quantity of meetings scheduled varies for each rep depending on which products I'm looking at over time. So all this data used to previously funnel into Salesforce, and you'd have to pull Salesforce reports and ensure that the attribution of the meeting sources were accurate so that you could accurately have different reports from different places and then match them up and understand where meetings were coming from. And now with the demand conversion platform, you can do that all in one place. Okay, so let's go through a quick simulation of this and practice of how the demand conversion platform can be used in practice. Point of view, you're an operations leader in sales or marketing that is tasked with updating sales territories in your tech stack after a recent org change. And that org change is requiring that you merge the distribution for North America company size 11 through 50 with the distribution 51 through 250 to a singular band. So it's going to become 50 to 250 because you assessed that the lead volume from these 2 pools was too low and they should be merged into one to make sure that all of the account executives are getting enough inbound leads every single month. We're also going to create a new distribution for a small pool, and it's just going to be for company size less than 50, and we're going to round robin this between Whitney and Aaron. I'm sure this is something that most of you are familiar with. Credit to Madeline for creating this and throwing it in there, but this is something that we hear about all the time. It takes time to update these routing rules and logic in all of your different systems. If you have Chili Piper, if you have Drift, if you have Lean Data and some logic in Salesforce, that's a lot of different places to update things, even if it's owned by different people. Why not just combine them into one? Okay, so going back to our distribution, we can see that this distribution 11 through 50 is used in all of the following places. So we know that we need to make a change in all of these places. How do we do that? the way that we do that is actually just by finding the routing rule that is linked to this distribution, which we have here. So the routing rules that you create in Chili Piper are a part of the workspace, which means you create them once and you can deploy them to all of your products in just one click. So this single routing rule is what's powering these two concierge routers, these two chat journeys, and this handoff router. So we have one routing rule that is powering multiple different channels of logic. We're going to update this from 11 through 50 to the conditions I have up here, greater than or equal to 50, less than or equal to 250. We'll rename the rule and then we'll publish it live. And just like that, our change is now deployed. We'll go ahead and then check again where this rule is used, and we can see that it's used in the following places. So just by publishing it, I've now updated the logic in all of these places. I don't need to go into different systems. I just needed to update that single condition, and now the task that I was given in order to reflect the org change is completed. And then let's do, actually I misspoke. There was one more thing we had to do, which is create the new distribution for less than 50 people. So in the workspace, you can see we have all of our distributions over here. And this is actually a screenshot of our environment in Chili Piper. So you can see we have all of these different distributions, and this is how we route our leads and meetings in Chili Piper. And then we want to create a new one. So I've created a new one here, drafted it. I have Whitney and Aaron. It's for company size less than 50 people. We'll go ahead and publish it live, and then we just need to deploy it to the different places that we actually want to use this distribution. And that's it. So previously, you would have all these different point solutions responsible for this logic, and something that previously took a ton of time across several different places can be configured within a few minutes within Chili Piper. And not only are distributions responsible or shared within all of the products in Chili Piper, but we've replicated this across every type of asset that you use in all of the products. Rules, lead to account matching, reporting, meeting types, teams, branding. All of this is shared among the entire Chili Piper demand conversion platform suite. Okay, so that's what we currently have with chat. There's a lot of nuance to the product, of course, and if you are interested in getting a better feel for some of the specific use cases and edge cases that I didn't talk to, feel free to schedule a demo with our sales team if it makes sense for you right now, and we can go ahead and dive into a lot more specifics. But I just wanted to give you a high level on what the product is currently capable of and the common use cases that we've seen it deployed for over the past few months. We have a lot of really exciting updates already planned for the rest of this year and into next year. So I just want to touch on some things which I think are the top questions we get around product updates and the roadmap. So the first thing are chat logs. We're really excited to be working on chat logs. Chat logs are basically a detailed view of the path a visitor took for when they interact with your chatbot. We'll have these logs available for both visitors who are known, meaning they provided their email, and unknown anonymous visitors. You'll be able to go into an individual chat log record and even see all the different sessions they've had and click into each node they interacted with, see what time they interacted with it, see what data they provided. And if there's any errors, you can even focus that node and see exactly where it failed. We want to provide you with the information necessary to understand trends in how visitors are interacting with your chat, see which journeys they're interacting with the most, see which landing pages they're interacting with the most when they start talking to the chat, and even see when chat is triggered the most. Maybe 90% of the time chat fires is on your homepage. Maybe 90% of the time it's on a new product solutions page. This is all really important insight and data, and we want to give you access to it in the logs so that you know exactly where to spend your time optimizing chat. We'll take this one step further eventually and show you this data in aggregate, but this is the next update that we're working on over the next few months. And if you are currently a chat customer, I probably sent you an email about working with our team to beta test this and provide feedback on the UI. So if that's something that you're interested in, then definitely get in touch with me after. as we're currently working on this now. All right, the next thing that we get a ton of questions about are what integrations are available with chat. The biggest one and the only one that we currently support at this time is Salesforce. Chili Pepper platform is dependent on Salesforce CRM. We also support HubSpot for the concierge product and some other products, but all data currently syncs into Salesforce, specifically with chat. We are planning Marketo and HubSpot next year, specifically so that you can create activities and engagements within these tools, and you can also use their cookies for visitor identification. I know that's a really important attribute of an integrated chat solution with your marketing automation platform. We are also considering Pardot, but Marketo and HubSpot tend to be the more common ones that we've seen so far, so that will probably come later. We also know that if you already have Clearbit and 6sense in your tech stack, which most of you do, you'd love an opportunity to integrate it with Chili Piper for visitor targeting, perform enrichment, and to perform ABM targeted journeys. And these are also two integrations that we're planning for next year, which will come sometime around the middle of the year, maybe a little bit later, but they're on our roadmap. Okay. All right. And then we have some other things planned in addition to that that will come much before then, but those are the top two. We want to use the last little bit of time here before we get into the Q&A to think more about where is Chili Piper Chat going? What is our vision? How is it going to differentiate from the other 600 plus chats that are already on the market? And what are we going to do differently? And how is it going to fit even better into the existing suite of Chili Piper products? Something that we noticed when we were doing a ton of research on the state of chat today, and something that we continuously notice in talking with customers regularly, is that existing chatbots are hard to scale. They exist independently of other tools. And initially, when you get it, it's really exciting. You're opening a new channel for pipeline generation on your website, which is the number one reason marketers and sales teams choose to deploy chat on their website. And then when you decide to scale it, you assess, okay, where can we add it in more places on our website? How can we personalize it further? And this becomes effective, but it eventually plateaus, as you notice here. Sorry, guys, I forgot to switch the slides. All right, there, that should make more sense. So initially you're here, eventually you scale, you get here, and then you might plateau with your growth after this point. And this is what we're noticing. It's like, how do you get past this plateau period here? I had a customer say to me, and they're a really big company, earlier this year, and they said, we know that chat is responsible for 2% of our overall revenue, and 2% of this company's revenue is a ton of revenue. But we want to 10x that, and we don't know how. And this particular company was using Drift, and it was unclear how to get this 2% to 20%. And then maybe that 20% eventually incrementally increases 5% every month after that and doubles for the following year. And this was a problem that they had a lot of people on their team unable to figure out, likely due to limitations of the tool, but also due to lacking insights. So we want to get companies who are at this point to this point. How do we get chat to continuously and autonomously adapt to your growing business, to your ever-changing website, to the evolution that is constantly happening within the ecosystem of software, so that your chat stays up to date and can continue scaling without the need for constant intervention, copy changes, and the things that have previously made scaling chatbots really difficult and time consuming. We want to solve for getting out of this plateau. So we're thinking ahead to how do we do this with Chili Piper Chat? And we just wanted to give you a little preview today of some of the things that we're thinking about. So the first thing is, we know that when you're creating journeys, sometimes you get stuck, sometimes you want templates. And imagine that when you're doing that, you have the option to use Chili command to help you create the journey. You can just tell it, write a compelling welcome message to greet visitors using best practices, then qualify that visitor using our default criteria. Maybe that's a criteria you're already using in concierge, and schedule meetings through a round robin with the mid-market AE distribution. Then add it to a Salesforce campaign, chat with the member status meeting booked, and only show this on the pricing page. essentially an interface to tell the journey what you want and allow it to create it for you. Once you continue, the journey will go ahead and you confirm your prompt. You can go ahead and generate it, and then the journey will automatically be created for you in the background. And you can go ahead and apply this journey and just change the copy and add additional nodes and edit it as you see fit. So everything that we prompted the journey to do is already done for us here. This allows you to save time on getting started, to deploy new journeys, to test new experiences, and just to overall get up and running faster. Now, let's say that your journey has been live for a couple months and you want to optimize it, but you're not sure how. So we can go back into that particular journey and it will say 3 insights have been found. And the insights are reorder buttons based on selection frequency. And this is specific to this particular journey. Ask for email later in the process. And if these insights are not exactly what you're looking for, then you can also prompt it based on any question you have in mind, or use some of the suggested prompts in order to get an idea for what the next iteration should look like. So let's go ahead and we're going to select this prompt. Which path is the least visited by visitors in this journey? Chili Command will then tell us the least visited path is the book a meetings path. 72% of visitors actually choose to ask a question before booking a meeting directly. And then it gives us a suggestion for how we can optimize this meeting path, saying we can offer live chat instead, which tends to be preferred when displayed first. Chili Command will then give you an option to update and make this change for you, and then you can go ahead and review it and publish it live. And then the last piece to this is even bigger picture. So now you've had chat for 6 months. You also have Form Concierge all over your website, and you are tasked with leadership to figure out what it's doing well, what it's not doing well, and how you can scale it 10x, 20x, whatever the ask is. In your chat analytics or in your Chili Piper demand conversion workspace, you'll also see Chili Command will show you that a few insights have been found here. You'll see things like 23% increase in meetings has been found from the last 6 weeks. See the analysis, or improve the volume of the journey returning visitors by adding it to your homepage. Or 30% more visitors will see the widget if you remove the 50% scroll requirement. Things that you may not have realized without digging deep into your journey performance and spending a lot of time doing so. Chili Command will just give you these insights automatically. You can also prompt it and ask any question, but in this example, we want to see exactly why we've had an increase in meetings in the last 6 weeks. So we'll pick this option, and then it will tell us that there's 3 reasons. The first reason is that 2 users have actually increased their working hours from 9 to 5 to 8 to 6, and this is increased coverage. The concierge router was added to another page last week for the webinar, and that's created another 5 meetings. And there's also been a 15% increase in overall site traffic volume on the pricing page, and this has caused a 7% increase in meetings booked. So we can go back to leadership with these insights directly gotten from Chili Command without having to spend time digging deep into reports. You can go onto the Chili Piper interface with any question, and Chili Piper will give you the answers to those questions. Okay, so that's a little sneak peek of what we've been working on, and I think we have one more poll for you guys. After everything we just shared, what feature are you most excited about? AI to help me build journeys, to help me prove conversions, to help me find the right analytics? None, you just want an AI chatbot, or something else? Very cool. To help improve conversions. Seems to be in the lead. So coming in. Awesome.
So helping improve conversion seems like the winner, but all of them people are excited about. It's cool to see.
Yeah, very cool to see. Cool. All right, so that's all we had for you guys today. I know there's been a lot of hand raises and questions in the chat, so we have a good chunk of time to go through them.
Yes, so I've been looking through the chat. I've been answering a few of your questions by typing, and if there's anything that you need clarification on, feel free to ask again. The one that I couldn't answer, Liz, is how do we usually see chat playing with intercom? Do we have customers using Chili Chat and intercom together, and how does that kind of work together?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we used to have a direct integration with Intercom for scheduling. Unfortunately, it kept breaking and we weren't able to keep up with it. So we deprecated the integration and we used to have customers who I were aware of using scheduling links in their Intercom setup to schedule meetings, although I'm less familiar with that now, especially because Intercom has pivoted to a more customer support, customer success focus. Compared to their previous broader focus on sales, marketing, and customer success, which I know they had some trouble with due to limitations with their Salesforce integration not working optimally for revenue operations. So it's not something that I hear about as often. I think more commonly I will hear customers with Drift using Chili Piper router links or scheduling links in their Drift setup for scheduling.
Thanks, Liz. So Ruby just asked about how people are using Lean Data and Chili Piper together. Do you want to take that one or should I?
Ooh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we have a lot of people that are using Lean Data for CRM routing and Chili Piper for scheduling and chat. The double routing lean really something that we come up to with a lot, but we're seeing even more people that are moving from Lean Data onto Distro, which is our answer to CRM record routing. And what's cool about that is that you can consolidate all of your routing rules into one place, so you can use it with CRM record routing, with chat that you just saw, with concierge, with handoff. So instead of updating it in multiple places, you just updated it all in one place. But Ruby, as far as your specific use case, I'd recommend you chat with your account team. It sounds like you're a customer, and they can figure out your exact situation. A few questions that we had before as well is the chatbot cookieless, and does it natively integrate with Part? I believe you mentioned Part on in your chat, but what about cookies?
Yes, it is mostly cookieless. We don't track any visitor information. We're not recording any visitor information. We do store a anonymous random guest ID for visitors, which is only used to eventually track who they are if they come back on the same browser, on the same device, and not have to ask for their email again. Currently, that's the extent of the data that we collect. When we integrate with Clearbit and 6sense, that might look a little different, but of course, we'd update our customers and our privacy policy based on what we choose to decide, but we have not gone into the specifics of what that will look like yet, but we are trying to avoid cookies as much as possible.
Stephen asked, are Salesforce records created as leads or contacts? Is there a choice?
Yeah, so in the entire Chili Piper ecosystem, you can always choose how they're created and you have a lot of flexibility. You can always create leads, you can always create contacts, you can create leads always, but if we find a matching account, then you can create a contact. So that's something that you can choose to configure specifically within each setup. Does that answer your question?
Stephen, does that answer your question? Um, and we have a question about pricing, of course. So our pricing is fully transparent. It's on our pricing page, www.chilipiper.com/pricing. If you scroll down to the calculator at the bottom, you'll be able to input into your custom quote. I don't want to say anything. Okay, this is being recorded, so this is true right now, but in the future it might not be true. But $1,000 platform fee plus your user fee, and that platform fee is waived for all of your other products. So if you're currently on Concierge and you upgrade to chat, you only pay like whatever the difference is between your current platform fee. So it's very cost effective if you're currently using a Chili Pepper product. Yeah. And the I forgot to add this disclaimer, but the Chili Piper chat for HubSpot, you can go ahead and answer that, Liz.
Yeah, it's currently the chat is currently dependent on Salesforce, meaning any data that you want to export outside of the Chili Pepper system. The only CRM I can currently go into today is Salesforce. That might change in the future. We're trying to gather enough data to assess whether it makes sense to build a HubSpot integration. We haven't really decided in one direction or another. We also know that HubSpot has their own chat, and that seems to be a really popular option for teams that are using HubSpot. So if you have a good reason for why you'd want to be using Chili Piper chat over HubSpot chat, then let us know, because I believe their chat is free.
Yes. So yeah, as she said, we're looking to explore it. Chandler, to answer your question about the user fee, the way that it works right now is that the user fee gets less and less expensive as you add more products. So if you have Concierge Standalone, it's $30 per user. You add on another product, it's 25 per user per product. Another product is 20 per user per product, and then another one is 18 per user per product. So the more products you add, the less it is per user per product. It's easier if you to understand this if you see this on a on the landing page versus me talking it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the meeting licenses between chat, concierge, and handoff can be shared. So if you already have a subset of users with meeting licenses for concierge, then they basically get chat licenses for nothing, free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Eli asked any evidence or success metrics about how chatbot can improve conversion rates. I believe you shared something in your presentation about one of our customers is booking crazy meetings with chat, but it really depends on, wait, actually, you go ahead and answer, Liz.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I forgot to include this. You're right, because we were talking about it. We have one customer, we have a lot of customers that are currently using chat and seeing awesome success with it, but we have one in particular that I think got over 2 million visitors see the bot. So they just get crazy site traffic last month alone. And they convert around, I think it was like 15% into actual engagement with the chat. So they just interact with the initial welcome screen. And then from there, I think I don't have the exact numbers, but they have a crazy high volume of meetings. Like they're booking at least like 50 to 60 meetings a week from the
Mhm.
chat. Now, 50 meetings from 2 million site visitors, pretty small percentage, but we are seeing that on average, the number of people who interact with the chatbot is between 10 to 12%. And then from there, some percentage will end up getting routed for live chat or scheduling meetings. There is I think I showed it in one of the previous slides, but there is a chat analytics dashboard, which you can use to actually see how many people see the bot based on the triggers that you set for each journey or all of your journeys in aggregate. And you can see that the funnel that they progress through over time. So do they continue interacting with it? Do they make it to a rep? Does the rep join the conversation? And you can use that to assess how your chat is performing above or below industry standards. And we work with the CSMs and each customer to assess and make sure you're hitting those benchmarks or at least exceeding them, at least hitting them, but ideally exceeding them.
I also saw a lot of questions come through about support, overflow of getting questions from current customers about support. So I know how we solve this for Chili Piper's website. So maybe just touch on that.
Yeah, so we focus super heavily just on the sales and marketing use case initially because we know that's where meetings tend to be more common and the primary reason that chat is purchased internally, and then support inquiries tend to come in through the chat. So the way that I, there's two different approaches I see is one approach is we want to use chat to help deflect support if customers do come through there. The other is that we want to exclude customers from seeing the chat because the only people who are using it and have licenses are sales teams. The second approach is how we solve for it at Chili Piper. In most cases, if you're a customer, you may not see the chat. We are primarily showing it to new prospects. We may have changed this recently, actually, so you might see the chat now, but initially that is how we deployed it. And if you want customers to go through the chat, then we also provide an option to, and this would be if they're logged into your platform, we can detect who they are and then hide the chat from them. You can provide a path for deflection, whether it's emailing support, redirecting to your support hub page. We are exploring a couple requests just for slightly better deflection, which would be creating a Zendesk ticket automatically and automatic Salesforce case creation. Those are in consideration for next year. But if you wanted to expand support to the chat platform by adding support reps to do that, then you could transition those chats and people who go through that path to the support teams so that they are out of the sales team's way.
We had another question come in on the forum about using chat for ABM marketing. So maybe we can chat about our cool lead to account matching capabilities that we have.
Yes. So the chat currently does not automatically or like natively support any type of de-anonymization logic in the way that Drift and Qualified do. And I'd say that's the biggest difference between us and Drift and Qualified is that you'll see they have in their products embedded tools like Clearbit and Sixth Sense and metadata and demand base. And I'm not sure exactly what the most up-to-date mix is that they use now to take an IP address and figure out what account they're coming from and then target them with different experiences based on the account that's matched. We intentionally decided to not do that originally or initially because a few reasons. The first is that we see match rates are really low, anywhere from like 10 to 15%, depending on the industry that you're in. So it's only going to be like maybe 10 out of every 100 visitors that will actually be identified and you can target with ABM. I know that varies depending on the industry that you're in, though. The second reason is also that a lot of companies already have these tools in their tech stacks. And by us white labeling something, we would then be essentially charging you twice for it. It would be reflected in our chat pricing, which I don't know, probably like 5+X what it is today. So we opted to not do that because it would just be more cost effective and instead go the route of if you already have one of these tools in the tech stack, then we'd like to offer native integration and support for you to just plug in what you already have and then provide the interface inside of Chili Piper to use those tools. So I'd say it's not a use case that we handle really right now, but we're trying to get there. But we do identify like returning visitors. So if someone has previously engaged with chat or if they've submitted their information through a concierge form, we can tell who they are if they're on the same browser, same device, and then you can target them that way and greet them with a more personalized message like, hey, welcome back.
Perfect. And something that we do with our other Chili Pepper products and for chat as well is the just natively to account matching that Chili Pepper offers. We used to offer just domain only matching. So if someone has the same domain, we match it to the domain in your Salesforce. But now we've added all of these cool Salesforce duplicate matching rules so you can get super, super robust with your lead to account matching. So if they're booking a meeting through chat or concierge or handoff, or I guess not, chat concierge or just coming through like your CRM routing, we can match the leads to the right account. So you don't have people, I don't know, reps reaching out to 2 different leads at the same account, and then you have to deal with the telling them, sorry, you wasted all your time on this lead. It's not your lead. So that's a pretty cool thing that we have now. Let's see, are there any, I feel like we answered all of the questions that came through. Did anyone have anything else that we haven't answered yet? We had a ton of questions, so I really appreciate everyone participating and asking your questions. If there's anything that we didn't answer live, we'll be sending in a follow-up email tomorrow. We have a recap article of this recording. We'll answer all of the FAQs at the bottom. And of course, you can connect with Liz or me on LinkedIn. We're happy to answer any other questions. Thanks everyone so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.